Dominions, the fourth one. So what this is here, that I'm going to be engaging in a bit of a sampling of, not really a very thorough playthrough here, for reasons I will get around to articulating. So what this is a big old fantasy strategy game, a great deal of depth and nuance and mechanical foibles and capacity for shenanigans, and I'm going to turn down the volume a bit farther because that is some pretty loud... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a lot of possibility for, you know, weird shenanigans and intricate mechanics and so forth. But because of that, yeah, it's kind of halfway to grognardy in terms of how many wheels within wheels it has running. But anyway, as a result of that, the AI that exists for playing against when alone cannot really meaningfully interact with the game. It has only kind of a cursory ability to interact with the mechanics. It can build armies, it can move those armies around and try to take land and throw them at you. It can't engage in any of the crazy wizard bullshit that's how the game is properly played. So really, this is a game that you play multiplayer with other people, but because it's a big, slow strategy game, it's one that you play with friends over weeks and months of either, like, agreeing to weekly sessions to sit down and do a bunch of turns in a row, or just having a server sitting somewhere and being like, everyone play at least one turn per day. And having the game chip away at itself and be progressed that way. AI exists as filler to pad out such maps. And yeah, the AI that exists isn't even particularly good at doing those basic functions, but it's good enough to be a training dummy to beat up if you want to go about just toying around and demonstrating. It is certainly a menu here, but anyway, let's go ahead and create a new game. I will go with a small map. No need to, like, scaling up to larger maps is what you would do if you were going to just dive up to particularly large size. So we're going to end up going through a series of decisions, not particularly in the order that I'd usually think about if I were going to go about explaining the game. So there's one of the things, there's a lot of countries you can choose from. They're all quite interestingly distinct and weird and different in how their playstyles work. And then, so you could do a whole lot of customization within each of these countries to create a lot of different ways you could play the game. And then on top of that, all of these countries exist across 3 periods of history that you can choose. So like, any given game will be in either the early ages, the Middle Ages, or the late ages. We have, like, early age is this kind of primeval age of myth and legend where all kinds of proto-civilizations are tooling around. The Middle Age is kind of more like your late Romes and your Middle Eras, and then the late ages are firmly into kind of a medieval versions of all of these societies. Where you have, like, in the early ages you have the most weird mystical shit going on, and in the late ages you have some of the power, like, dynamics shift more towards conventional arms and armies, but wizards are still there and remain terribly important and central. And, like, each of these countries goes through different states as you make your way through the timeline, so there's very different dynamics and options you have available in each age, depending on where you feel like throwing your cards down. I think I'm going to go early age for this demo game. And let's see, pad this out with a handful of normal AIs. Right, Disciple game is a team mode where you have folks who... It's a game mode where you have teamwork. multiple groups are working together. You have, you know, a group and you have civilizations that are competing to win, and then others that are their allies, and so forth. That's not necessary for this, though. Yeah, I'll be a human, and here's a bunch of AIs who will be something randomized as needed. Hold on a moment, mail has just been slipped under my door. Yeah, I'll deal with that anyway later. So anyway, we're now about to get down to the actual core shenanigans that are involved here. So, our plot, our story, our framing device, our premise upon which this is based is... So we have all of these various nations of people throughout the world, which was... The world was made by the Pancrator, the great, ancient, all-powerful super god from which all things originated, and the Pancrator is now dead. And everybody else has some kind of powerful, big shot what's-his-name, who thinks they could be top god. So you are playing as a pretender deity, and the civilization which worships them, and are trying to beat the shit out of all of the other gods and become the new top god. And these gods and their countries have inspiration drawn from all kinds of sources all over the place. Like you got folks up here, Acrosophale, those are like bizarro ancient Greeks, Urmor, those are the Romans. Kind of deal like here you have Romans where like there's a little bit of early Christianity as well as like a weird fringe cult, and then that gradually becomes more important as you move forward. And you got like, your Conan barbarians and your druids, your Amazons, your like ancient China, like way old, Age of Spring and Autumn China, pre-Warlords China. Get your, I think those guys are kind of based on Indian mythology over there. Got your Aztecs and their blood gods going on. Yeah, I think Abyssia here has like genies, magma people. You got lizard men. You got there's your weird elven woodland critters, underground troglodytes, Turnanog, some conventional elves, Fomorians, Vanheim, Helheim. And I would have to dig into the manual to review, like, the details of all the there's a very large and extensive manual that's a good reference. But yeah, you got influences from all over culture and history going into making these folks. And all of these countries have, like, different archetypes that they can follow as far as how they play. Where you'll have, like, pretty conventional... The groups that are like very directly based on regular civilizations, like Acrosophale and Irmor and Tianxi, all play as you might expect for closer to what you'd expect out of a regular strategy game, where you have like you build big conventional armies and then support them with wizard artillery and set up other shenanigans around that. Whereas you have other groups like the I think like maybe the Yomi? I haven't played the game exhaustively enough to try all of the races, so a lot of the stuff in the way. But you'll have other ones that are like built around smaller numbers of elite units that are padded out with chaff and other such things, or ones where any regular units they have are just kind of filler that's there to be meat between the wizard and everybody else while the wizard does all the heavy lifting. And down here at the bottom, Atlantis, Relia, Pelagia, you have also oceanic creatures whose gimmick is they live underwater. They settle primarily under the sea, and it's very hard to invade their territory for a while. Anyway, I have to pick one of these, or have one of them inflicted upon me, but it's a big list. Yeah, not a lot of these nations are particularly good people in terms of their lore. There's a whole lot of, high fantasy, heavy metal grunge going on in terms of what all these folks are about. I think if no one else particularly has something like that, usually I would play like Ermor or or Tianxi I'm fairly fond of. They got some pretty good. If I pick random, I'm not sure what that's gonna do for getting me to customize my god. Kind of the other thing about, well, like in particular, water nations is if maps will generally have less water than land, and while your terrestrial opponents will be really bad at trying to invade the sea, you will be similarly bad at trying to get out of the sea for various reasons, depending on which kind of fish you are. Whether you're like deep ones or mermaids or something else entirely. You got like Femoria there, so they have giants, so they have like very smaller numbers of very huge, hefty creatures. Henom down there. Vigil of the Sun, cave-dwelling bat people that once guided the sun on its nighttime passage through their caves. There's just so much good lore. I could probably just make an afternoon out of sitting down and reading through the manual just to see all of the flavor and history that unfolds between these folks. But yeah, as you get farther away from the various regular civilizations, you get deeper into ones where you need to have good working awareness of a gimmick. Blood magic in particular is a gimmick that you need to very firmly build around, because you have, like, once you get into the economy of how you run your country and do spells, blood magic does its own weird thing. Fine, all random. If I am being too indecisive, let the dice judge me! Show me what you got. Alright! Baratos, the Phoenix Empire! People descended from civilization created by the Telkines, titanic storm demons defeated by a previous Pancrator. Telkines taught shipbuilding, sailing, and metal crafting to the human ancestors of the Baratos. When the Telkines were defeated, the humans fled to the sea, led by Stormcolors. Ultramiron crafting and magical mud Stormcolors. New colonies were founded on distant shores. Like a phoenix, the dying empire was reborn. Telkine gods were dead, and the humans sought divine leadership. They found Melkarts of Hanam. The colonies were situated near Ashad, and the bloody cult of Melkarts soon spread throughout the Phoenix Empire. The capital of Baratos, the great temple of Melkarts, was built. Now led by sorcerer queens from ancient temples. So, ocean sailing. Trace income across oceans. Income bonus in coastal cities. Can recruit special mages in coastal cities. Prefer heat +1. Military of archers, infantry, and elephants. Magic. Prefer blood, fire, air, water, earth, and some astral. Priests. Strong, sacred colossi. Nice. Alright, we'll have a chance to dabble in some things, but now it is time to build our god, and oh boy, customizing, let's go. So you have a point build system going on. You can, when you get around to doing things in multiplayer, you attach a password to your god to lock it down properly. And, yeah, physical forms of gods. So it defaulted us to this thing over here, the Great Black Bull. You can see here a very strongfully fighty creature. It has a number of equipment slots. It has a set of natural baseline traits, a point of nature magic, a point of blood magic, 9 research skill, 2 points of poison resistance. It tramples, it is a berserker, it has forest survival, it has recuperation, and a supply bonus of 10. So yeah, this is one of a shitload of kinds of god you could choose to be. Like, let's see, what's up here? We could a glyph. We could just be a word written on a wall. We could just be a burning letter. And all these kinds of god like do different things with their traits that are so let's see, this starts with a point of fire, 2 points of astral, 11 research, 52 fire resist, 15 poison resist. It is a magic being, can only be commanded by mages or some innately magic creatures, but it's a commander itself, so that wouldn't matter. It does not eat. It has a heat rating of 6. Heat is more intense in hot lands and weaker in cold ones. Heat effect usually decreased during rain or nullified when underwater. Some creatures have heat that works and regardless of water. It is ethereal. It's hard to hit with non-magic weapons. Wasteland survival. It is blind. It is not affected by the loss of eyes, blindness, or darkness. And it's an innate spellcaster. So it can cast spells on the same combat round that it moves or attacks with normal weapons. Never hindered from casting its spells by being in melee. And it can cast 1 spell per combat round in addition to the normal actions. 50 health, no protection, 18 magic resist, 30 morale, 20 strength, 5 attack, 5 defense, 15 precision, 1 encumbrance, no fatigue, 2 move points. Well, like, fatigue is something that builds up tactically. 125 leadership. We can fit a decent number of creatures under the command of our giant burning letter. And let's see, start Dominion Strength of 4 and 40 build points to open a new magic path. So yeah, this is all... There's a lot of archetypes you could try to build around, like having a combat pretender who's good at getting out there and mixing shit up as like some kind of, you know, giant or horrible primeval monster. Or you can build something that's like specialized in staying at home and doing research or casting strategic spells or forging magic items for your other people to use. You can be an immobile object if you want. You can just be a blood fountain. It is terrifying and resistant to slashing and piercing. It has no life and constantly vomits blood. You can be a bird if you want, or you can, like, way on the other end of things, you can build as, like, just a really smug wizard who thinks they know everything. So the body itself is very tiny to purchase, so you have a lot more points to spend on just busting out into a bunch of magic schools. It has very low innate Dominion strength as well. Let's see. Solar Eagle. That's another pretty good one. At this point, I'm already sold on the giant burning letter. I'm going back to that. Solar Disc. Just this bird that is the sun. Or claims to be the sun. Has great power over fire. Yeah, I'm going to take the letter at this point. I'm just looking around, though, at the others. Various titans that we could have. So it looks like these folks are kind of a mix of Greco-Egyptian. Just kind of whole classical Eastern Mediterranean. You could be like a weird sphinx or a manticore. Various kinds of snake. Could be this Wadjet. This serpent of chaos. Oh, Lich Queen. But yeah, all sorts of... A Demi-Lich! You could just be a skull. Just a tiny skull. Freak Lord here, riding its weird giant man creature. Various dragons. There's a lot of real album cover grade creatures that you can be in the process of pursuing your ascent to divinity. Many of these are probably oh yeah, there's this ant lion as well. It's a lion and an ant. I am really sold on this giant letter, though. You could be the Golden Bull. And this is just the baseline for your amazing divinity. So yes, what you then do is you buy a whole bunch of magic spells, well, magic schools and ranks that will be on your thing initially. These are also important because which of these you buy and how strong you make them affects on your deity in particular. Every deity has a blessing that their priests can throw down on friendly units. What the blessing does depends on which schools of magic your deity's invested in. So that +1 morale is the baseline. Each of these that I raised to at least 4, I think, gets to add an effect to the blessing. And so deciding whether you want to do a bless build or not is an important decision early on. So let's see. Fire. So let's see, like, yeah, if I take this up to 4 fire, my blessing is now +1 morale, +2 attack skill. And so forth. Like, if I add astral, now the blessing also gives magic resistance. And all of that. Another big description, or decision down here is, you can either have your god right away, or in exchange for more build points, choose to seal your god away and have it sleep for a certain number of turns. So you can get 150 extra points by sleeping for about a year, or 250 points if you sleep for 3 years-ish. So you're giving up the direct utility of your deity in exchange for, say, putting more points into your skills, your spells rather, to buff your blessing, or going in heavier on your dominion, which is another part of this. So once we do get in there, your god has like a sphere of influence that gets pushed out onto the landscape based on, like, you know, where people worship you. And by investing points into these bubbles here, you decide what that does as a passive effect. So when we chose these people, it mentioned that they prefer +1 heat. So right now our Dominion is quite strong. It's a Strength 4 Dominion on a scale of 1 to a bunch, where 0 is neutral land. But also, yeah, there's further blessing that can come up if you buy in even deeper. But anyway, so you then buy points of all these other things on various axes, between order and turmoil, between productivity and sloth, between hot and cold, between growth and death, fortune and misfortune, magic and drain, and each of these inflicts different passive effects on the land where you hold the dominion. So, for example, like hot and cold, its benefits are relative to who's living there, so our Dominion will push things toward Heat 1, which is what is preferred by our people. Other creatures will have different heat levels they like or hate. Like frost giants prefer the cold, or lizard men prefer warm weather, and so forth. Or, you know, magma beasts prefer it to be warm. Yes, I usually just pile on a couple of generic beneficial ones, but you can always try to, you know, specialize and get weird by focusing on various bits. So like I bought a couple points of productivity, a couple points of growth. So we will have more cash, more resources, more supplies, and population will grow a little bit faster. Rainbow Wizard can be a pretty nice build, where the regular human wizards have the cheapest way to break into new schools, and so it's very easy to make a regular human wizard who knows a little bit of everything, and there's use you can get out of that. Whereas non-humans, since we have like a 40-point cost to break into a new school, it is more expensive for us to try to dabble. Let's see. Suppose I don't give a shit about Astral and just want to be more fire. I'll sleep for a while. There we go. Now our blessing makes your weapons burst into flames. Yeah, magic resist, flaming weapons, sleep for 1 year. Let's see. even more. Yeah, I don't have a really fluid place to try to put more points. I guess if I can't afford another Dominion bubble, could afford more Astral, could not afford Fire 10. Alright, so Astral 5 it is. Or raw Dominion rating? Oh, that's actually rather inexpensive. Huh. Alright, Dominion 6. Dominion 7? There we go. That's... yeah, that's skimming that as close as possible. Alright, so we have a potentially intensely strong aura of industrious warmth. 1 year from now, the Word will wake. And of course, you can reuse your customization efforts by going into just a leader builder, building leaders in advance, having them saved and ready to go. For some reason it's not recognizing capitalization. All praise the Word. Okay, so yeah, start with one province. Moderate independent strength. Frequencies, multiples. Rare events, no story events. Score graph would let you get intel on your opponents. So often it is considered good form to turn that off, just so that you don't have all that innate spying data to game around and you have to guesswork. Standard research, the Thrones of Ascension. So yes, per the full title of the game, Dominions for Thrones of Ascension, there will be, scattered throughout the map, various Thrones of Ascension that are powerful objects, and whoever captures enough of them is considered the winner. You can here configure what victory conditions you'd like people to have, either any number of variations on the thrones or dominion or provinces or research, and set the point thresholds you'd like around that. Let's put more thrones on the map. So yes, each of these thrones, they will be level 1, 2, or 3. I think there's like a minimum ratio that they need to exist in. So yeah, out of 22 throne points on the map, let's say you need 14 in order to be in charge. And if you were setting up a server for multiplayer, you can throw passwords on there to be sure only authorized people get in, and so forth. It's just playing alone though, so whatever. Yeah, just give it a moment to combobulate. And here we are at the start of our first turn. In the beginning, there was chaos. Just your standard blurb about the start of the game. Age of Chaos has ended and the wheel turns again. Welcome to the Ascension Wars. Here we are. So, map is divided into various provinces. Provinces will have traits to them. We have our capital here of Baratos, number 56 on the map. This map right now. 30,000 people, no unrest, income of 432, resource rating 104, supplies of 1,235. Currently using 27 supply on the units that we have in place. Wheel and sky, keep on turning. It's currently home to 1 point of our dominion. We can strengthen that as we go about investing in things. You can see from the other little candle over here, our dominion has osmosed a little bit out into the surrounding land. Building temples and having people run ceremonies and sacrifices pushes things up for you on that front. And there's our little aura applying its effects. Our global treasury exists up here, $400, 430 total income right now. 225 upkeep. And our supplies of magic gems. These are magic gems and blood slaves, the blood magic equivalent of a magic gem. These are your resources for fueling rituals and shenanigans. We currently have a small income of those that's probably coming directly from our capital buildings. Let's see, we have our fort, we have a laboratory, we have a temple, and we have the Temple of the Storm, Temple of Storms and Flames. This allows us to recruit brides-in-waiting and colossi warriors, and is generating that base income for us. 2 slaves, 2 fire crystal, and 3 astral gem. Let's go ahead and take a look around here. So, in our city and our fortress, what have we got? Dryops here, he's a captain, so that's a basic military leader. He's capable of sailing. So when he is leading a unit, he can let them travel across the sea, but only, as many as he has boat for. Over here, we have a scout. Yeah, you are stealthy, mountain survival, forest survival. This is our scout here. Exists to sneak into other territory and take a look at its contents so that we can figure out what it's about. You can see by these lovely icons here, we have 2 thrones adjacent to our starting location and many more thrones floating around. We're at the top of the map and our back is to the sea, so it's a pretty nice situation. We got a couple little peninsulae to work with in the west. I'll send our scout to start looking around and observe new lands. Send him off sneaking. Meanwhile, let's see. Yeah, he is just set to defending right now. If we had any unrest, I could have him actively patrol to try and hunt down, rebels and pillage. Could appoint him a prophet in order to be able to spread our dominion as though our god were present, but, not as well. Feel like it, you can spend piles of gems to infuse people with spellcasting levels and make them able to throw wizardry around, or make existing wizards more powerful. And blood hunting. You can spend population from a province to get more blood slaves. Leaders are also necessary to oversee the construction of buildings. However, as a general, his primary purpose is leading soldiers. Go ahead and take a look at some things. Particularly, right now, I'm not generating any research. I have to fix that right away. We have a research system of various schools of magic that you can be dipping into. When you generate research points, you will progress towards learning spells from all of these schools. A combination of the skills of your wizards and your levels of research determines what spells you have access to. Let's see, over here. Recruitment in our capital. So you have 2 kinds of unit. You have leaders who have those little squares on the interface and have a bunch of unique personal level stuff and can be moved around the map. And you have soldiers who get attached to leaders and follow them around and do stuff. So up here in our leaders available, we have our scout, we have our captain, who's just a basic fightman. We have our priest. Priests are able to throw down blessings with their priest level. Priests will also often be a wizard as well and able to cast a little bit of magic on their own. But yeah, they can go out and preach your name to spread dominion and so forth. They're also sacred. Sacred tag interacts with some things. Some of our units will be sacred, others won't. Let's see, Sage over here. He looks to be, yeah, better at research than the priest was, also capable of sailing. 1 level of Earth and 1 level of a random school when you recruit them. Because our priests are blood and 1 random. And 9 research. Any wizard can research. Some wizards are better at it than others. Mage pilot. Renowned for their navigational skills, using air and water to guide ships. Point of air, point of water. 9 research, shock resistant, cold resistant, and a boatman. Storm callers, like that other guy but bigger. 2 air, 2 water, 1 random, 15 research. However, he is old. If we play enough years, he will, yes, at age 50, our people start to become old. And this guy is 60, so he's already a little past his prime and will gradually weaken as time goes on, eventually drop dead. And over here, right away. Oh, these 2 are also slow to recruit. They take more than 1 turn of effort in order to get them on the field. So the bride I'm waiting here. Fire, air, earth, blood. Priest level 2. 1 random skill, 21 research, and sacred. It's a powerful magician. Think of what was on this row. I'd like to start with some sages, so I can get research going. In general, you usually, for like research escalation purposes, yeah, they are betrothed to the word. But for like research escalation purposes, you usually, unless you have something else specific in mind, want to be recruiting wizards in all of your forts every turn, just to have them on the research pile. And down here for our regular units, got militia, very inexpensive cruft unit, just spear, leather, shield. Probably has terrible morale. Yeah, 8's not good. Basic mobility. We got archers. 30 range on their bows. That seems decent. And a little dagger for close range self-defense. Spearmen, who have also throwing javelins to support them. Regular ass swordman soldier, who can cut and pierce, scale armor, and so forth. Heavy spearman, who actually has a trait here. Formation fighter. Can use line formation without morale penalty. Like the sound of that. And elite soldier. Swordman, but better. And we also have some cavalry in the form of these lancers. And war elephant, which is a terribly risky and wondrous thing. So they can trample. When you throw them into combat, they can just kind of move forward into things and damage them and crush their way through them. Also, it is an animal. However, if their morale breaks and they panic, you know, they'll turn around and run away, back through your armies and trample them instead. Majestic war elephants, and way over here on the end, colossi. There they are, sacred bodyguard. They have extra morale when they are guarding a commander. Or rather, this rating plus their morale. Yeah, they are better at preventing things from assassinating your leaders. Yes, and they are sacred, so we can bless them. Yeah, that's what it is. Things have to be sacred to receive your blessing. So, bless builds on a country that doesn't have good sacred units are not a good idea. Start with some sages. At least one. Let's see, kill the sage, a priest, so that I can start throwing things around that way. Part of this is that I want to... Once I start expanding, I'm going to want a wizard and a priest following my initial army around to help, you know, properly process the lands that I conquer. Be sure, yeah, you're 9 and cost more. Well, actually, you cost slightly less than the sage in terms of resource. Sacred units also, I think, cost... They should cost holy points, or maybe they don't. Oh, I'm out of gold. I've already... Should not speak for all my gold at once. Not this soon. So yeah, first of all, get the sage. Then I'll try to get the ball rolling on some army stuff. Let's see, what do I have already? Under my captain, under dry ops, we've got 2 squads going on. He has a line of archers and a line of soldiers. Rather, he has a square of archers and a square of soldiers, with which I can get to a little bit of how combat works. So when you get into fights in this game, the battles themselves are completely automated. They just get processed off camera by virtue of the mechanics, just crunching things and sorting themselves out. And so what you do to influence battles instead is you organize a formation and set orders that you want your units to follow. So for example, I can have my soldiers here who I will tell to hold and attack closest enemy. So now what they will do is when a fight starts, they will spend a couple turns just standing here close to the archers, waiting around. And then after that bit of waiting, they will charge forward and try to stab folks. Meanwhile, my archers here will tell to fire and keep distance at the closest enemy. They will hang back here, shoot at things, but if things move close to them, they will start to back up and try to keep the range. Meanwhile, my commander, stay behind your troops. I don't want you getting murdered. And I can start padding this unit out, get them up to possibly 80 soldiers, so I want to recruit. I want to recruit for that. Let's see. You are using regular soldier right now. So, comparison between them. Spearman is a bit less expensive and has the javelin. While it looks like the swordman... Yeah, swordman has slightly better armor than the spearman. Recruit a bunch of spears. And a bunch of arrows. And so how the resource system here works, gold can be stockpiled. If you have more gold coming in than you're using, it builds up in a pile. Resources are like a bandwidth for unit production. If you're not using all of your resource, it gets wasted between turns. At least that's how I think it. That's what I recall. Could be misdescribing it or cross-wiring it with another mechanic. We'll find out. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to build a line of spearmen to just sit there and screen for a big mob of archers will then perforate anything that angers me. However, if you queue up more guys than you have resource for, the rest of them will just sit at the end of the line waiting for a chance to get used, and we will get more resource per turn as we move up. I'm just going to put this on repeat. I do plan to change out what kind of fancy mage man I'm getting, so use something else up after him. Let's see. Do have the cash on hand for the priest. Not quite for the pilot. We'll get the pilot next. So we'll spend a couple of turns building up, just have the army ready, and then we will send it somewhere. No global enchantments right now. That's the extent of our treasury. You can, once you have wizards commanding armies, you can give them gems, and they're able to, like, crack the gems open and use them for stuff on a battlefield. For now, though, I think we are ready to move forward. You can also bid for mercenaries. There are mercenary companies out there on the map who you can try to purchase to do stuff. Alright, so now we have some intel in the ocean. A small amount of fish. Here there is the ocean, there's some small amount of fish. Roughly 9 shamblers. Over here there are roughly 40 ichthyid warriors. So we have fish on the coastline. Scout keep noodling around. Over here about 20 horse tribe cavalry. Over here about 30 horse tribe cavalry. Yes, we're going to need many a wizard. We're gonna get things done in the big term. But yeah, for now we have that sage. This sage can now begin researching. Say hello. Kestrios, a fine sage. It will conduct many a science. Speaking of naturally, if I were playing aggressively, I would want to identify key spells I'm interested in and focus on them. Like, let's see, there's no level 0 conjuration. Fire stuff at 2. Conjuration's not a big school for us right now. Alteration. Twist Fate. We have access to that. Twist Fate, Air Shield, Hand of Dust. Evocation, that's one of our main ones for fire, astral, wind and water. This is your straightforward blast things with shit. All these names are pretty well taken from D&D as far as archetypes of how to organize a magic system. So yeah, evocation is just straightforward blast things with things. Construction is all about building either items. You can build magic items off a construction school, or you can create various summoned units. That enchantment for various defensive buffs and utility spells. Thaumaturgy. This does a bunch of weird things. I'm just going to engage in, and the blood magic has its own category. Blood. Welcome to Blood School, where you blood the blood. At level 9, you will learn of the looming hell. Some of these are map spells that you throw around strategically, others are tactical spells that your people will be able to toss around inside of a fight. And so let's see. A bunch of these were just recruited. Let's pile them to the squad. Also, you can see this little +1 morale here that they're getting off of the commander. If I, in the process of organizing them, put them in anything other than the default box formation, That will cost them morale unless the unit has a specialty in that formation. Yeah, like, sparse line for wide, tight line, double line for even tighter, skirmish where you're kind of a more widely spread square. For now, I'll just keep them boxed. I mean, they're mostly javelineers. They can toss over each other. Likewise, you don't need to be in anything fancy right now. This will work. Alright, and in recruitment, got that priest on order. And I would like to add a pilot to be my first traveling wizard. Throw another archer into the queue. Proclamation for Vanheim. Alright, they have appointed a prophet of Plague Singer. So Vanheim is on the map. There's one of the Viking civs, I think. Or scout sneaking around. So of the adjacent provinces, this one is probably going to be my first target. Our intel informs me that that's the softest point in the nearby neutrals. So that's what we're going to try to roll over first. But yes, you might recall from our list of possible units that are heavy spears take no morale penalty from fighting in lines. They're good at lines. They have no concept of personal space. Alright, so once we have the pilot out, I will want another sage on hand. And probably just continue to recruit sages until other things are needed, just so that we can start the research cycle going. Okay, so we are now sitting here with 64 regular soldiers, supported by a wizard and a priest, for what the wizard and priest are worth in a fight. I think we have what is necessary to go on our way. Put the sage recruitment on repeat, and let's see, for random schools, let's see. You wound up with earth, water. You round up with air, blood. And you are just air and water. "64 regular soldiers." Let's assign the each turn is a month. So having done a couple of turns, we are now in summer of the first year. And let's have the archers envelop the officers. As a bit of a bodyguard. You... Oh wait, I don't want to I don't have enough stuff to do to need to micromanage out a script yet. So just give you general orders to stay out of the way. Cast spells if you can. What do we even have for basic air, water, or blood? Basic Bloodman can cast Bleed. It's cause people to start bleeding. Prolonged and painful death, very good. That's a start, surely. Sleep Touch, that's not for us. There. You can build trinket level magic items. Fireflies. Tiny little fireballs, doing 6 burning magic damage. Freezing Touch. Close combat. It can be used underwater, though. Flying Shards. You can just throw rocks. Wizard Rocks. That's a magic spell. Throwing a rock real fast. Acceleration, Air Shield. And Conjuration, we got nothing. So we have extremely rudimentary magic going on, but we have what should be a powerful enough army to support what we're up to. So yeah, I'm just gonna send our priest and our wizard and our general over into that 20-horse province. We'll see what we get. We have our spy here. 20 lizard warriors in that forest. The reconnaissance continue. And of course we're going to continue recruiting as many soldiers as possible. Just to keep the build-up going. Alright, so let's do a fight. Got a battle to resolve. Proclamation from Katis. Dutter the Lizard King is now a prophet. And we have a battle. Let's see how we went. Lost a single soldier in exchange for wiping out an entire group of horse cavalry. Pretty good. So you can get just that quick combat report to summarize, and if you want, you can zoom in and see the details of what went down. They ineffectually threw some lances at us, looks like. Let's see. Or, no, they have bows. Alright, so they tried to pelt us with some arrows. Air shield went down. Archers started firing. Infantry holding the line for a bit. Tiny bit of damage. Blessing, because that's what he does, even if there's no valid recipients right now. Or is our priest there? Are any of our holy men sacred? He may just be wasting time with these blessings. He can bless himself. That's at least good for something. And there we go, the infantry line is moving forward. Still under assault. But they're taking it well. The archers continue to pelt right back. And there, I think that was our one casualty, that little squeak. And their morale is broken before the infantry even reach the line. There you go, the javelins. And away they go. Yes, there's a fast forward button as well if you're watching a particularly elaborate fight. Alright, so now that they've arrived here, also we're back at home, get our new fellow on research. So, let's see. You and your associate are going to search for magic sites. Because now that we've marched in here, this province is ours until a hostile army tries to take it back from us. So its population is ours, its gold income is ours, and its resource rating will actually feed back over into an adjacent fortress and apply to it. So now we have 126 resource per turn in this fort. And I can build more or bigger soldiers to make use of those resources. Which I think I might. Javelins didn't really have much of a chance to do anything of worth there. Let's clear those out and start to go for a bit of quality. Let's build a heavy spear line. Our poor stupid militia. Fortunately, we don't believe in such things. And at some point, once we're wealthier, I could consider dipping into horse or gigantic tusk horse. Big meaty thunk when those bows fire. But anyway, yeah, so gonna move our recruitment that way, since we have plenty of archer and would like to beefen up the fighting line. These guys are going to search the area for mysticism. And the general is going to just duck back over to the capital and pick up those new soldiers. Alright, we did not locate any magic sites in this province. You can see here now these little numbers that show up. Anyone with any magic skill can search an area for magic sites, and if you find any, they're province features that give you more gem income. Each site has a flavor it's aligned to, and a skill rating that it takes to be able to recognize it. So, if we came here with different kinds of wizards, or bigger wizards of the same flavors, and searched again, we might be able to find something we didn't know was there before. For now, we've done all we can with that. We'll have them come home. I will probably appoint the priest there to be our prophet, since we may as well have one for continuing to push our dominion. And it looks like we've located the territory of one of our neighbors. Very good. And we'll continue build up and then get ready to, someone has claimed the throne of the moon in the name of Plague Singer. Alright, so down here, we are now aware of these folks. Therefore, yeah, it's Vanheim. Vanheim is over here. I mean, that must be the throne of the moon. So, for the sake of searching diversity, I'm also going to bring one of our sages along, so we can have some earth checking as part of our teams. Archers into archer pile, spearmen into spear pile, as many as possible. We've now overflowed the, well, we've hit the command capacity for our one captain. So I'm actually going to take some of these regular spears and soldiers and make them bodyguards for our wizards. Now, let's see, which of these were the ones I was keeping on the front? Pointing you, Prophet. Arsenus and Myrsinus. They are going mobile, and I guess I'm also bringing Glaucus. So, Glaucus, have a bodyguard. You can see here they have kind of terrible morale when working with Glaucus, because Glaucus is not good at leading soldiers. This is not his thing. At all. I'm going to transfer some regular soldiers out of the main line to do wizard guarding. Yes, you all guard the priest. And you guard the pilot. There we go, just a standard 5-man bodyguard. Look how terrible in morale they are. These poor nerd guards. Alright, in response to that, I will take the regular fighters and move them forward a bit more. Womp them up to the front. While the nerd guards just lurk around at the back. Beep. Get you back into... You might as well? No. Oh, apparently you're less than garbage at commanding soldiers. Astounding. You're amazing. Yeah, he's just better at leadership than the priest or the sage. Our pilot, as a boat captain, knows a little bit about what he's doing, I guess. Good work. Oh yes, these folks will constitute our mobile force. I'll have more soldiers to pile into them when we do our next step. And everyone else who's not moving is on, well, we can have them put in a month of research work since they aren't going anywhere. And consider grabbing another regular commander. It's time to scale up our army. So next we'll go after these 50 horsemen. Are you not capable of sailing? No. You are not a boatman at all. Alright, we'll sneak you that way. Only 20 deer tribe archers over here. That's gonna be very easy to roll over. I want to set up a border against Vinheim pretty soon. Either the fort there, or maybe a fort over here. Probably there, and then also over here to hold the line in that direction. Across the Isthmus. Yeah, fort there. Again, the forts can, like, feed on material from adjacent lands for getting their shit running. So yeah, like, fortify there. Fortify over here. And over there would be inefficient, but still controlling somewhere along the line. We'll just see how hard they push forward as they grow. There's our proclamation. Our new priest. Yep, new sage for research. New spearman for the line. Put one spear each onto these bodyguard teams. More than that. I also want to start weeding out all of the, But yeah, I can do that since he has capacity for another squad. Yeah, we just split off the heavy spearmen into their own teams. They can benefit from their formation bonus. Yeah, just stand them in front of the skirmishers, not behind. I'm not that rude as to make the skirmishers go first. But yeah, definite sign that we can go for another commander. Have somebody for running the meat wall and someone for guarding the archers. Then we'll send this whole batch of folk on ahead to do some fighting. Your strategy, be a wizard! Weird, I know, but think about it. What if you were a wizard? And what are trinket grade magic items? I don't have view of it from here. There's also like a convenient wiki reference page thing you can search through for finding all the spells and items. Alright, let's see how the fight goes. 2 archers lost. Defeating 30 cavalry. Let's take a look. Yep, once again, our opponents, these light horse archers. Just, you know, some Parthians, some Mongols. Alright, so we just had archers who died to stray attacks. Air shields up. Got a sermon going. And let's see who got that air shield. Oh yeah, becoming the prophet also gives a priest some extra levels of priest. And like with wizard levels, priest levels give them access to more miraculous things they can do. That's where this Sermon of Courage is coming from. It's a separate priest ability. Yep, here we go. Our guys are now up rushing the line. Just as the independents break. We are practically just doing this on pure archer swarms. Oh, let's search the area. And some more folks are starting to gain experience. Or improved performance. 70 generic militia and heavy infantry. Those are quite terrible creatures, or units. They are worse than pretty much any proper soldier from one of the nations. They're just the filler that exist as neutrals. Yep. Well, let's just this turn, let's interrupt our usual treadmill to slip in a commander. And we'll keep the Sage treadmill rolling. Once I have more than one fortress, I'll be less constrained in what kind of units I could be adding. Oh, and we have more resource now, so I could pad out more archers. And these two territories are frail enough that I'm gonna send the army forward while the wizards do their work. I can just conquer these areas very quickly, and then maybe be in position to build a fort out here to secure the line. Like, cleanse them, the wizards can catch up, merge and meet with us over there. Then we will storm that throne there, and that can be our fortress out on this frontier. Something like that. It would mean this province isn't being covered by a fort, but maybe we can work with it. Either fort on the throne or fort there. Preferably the throne, really. Lost a couple heavy spears, because I guess this time we actually got into the fight. Maybe. Since we weren't fighting cavalry archers again. Let's see what we have out here. It's snowing. Yep. Enemy archers take some shots. Our archers very quickly liquefy these militia. Yep, they're just vaporized. Okay, there are a handful of archers back here who are doing their thing. And our spearmen actually got up to the front and started to mix it up. Died hand to hand. And their line is broken. And the rest proceeds as normal. Routed as hell. Get out of there. And we found a magic site. Found the Sky Split Oak. And over here we are now aware of a site. Also, the throne of might, spreads dominion and improves our blessing. Once we can claim it. Can I do that with my profit? Yes. Claim that throne. And the site we found is an extra astral gem. Or air gem. I've been getting air gems this whole time, not astral. Alright, so now we have this general ready to transport some fresh soldiers out, and then we'll start rearranging things as far as who's what on the front. He will march out there this turn, out there next turn, where... Oh. Vanheim moved in there properly. So there's no proper concept of diplomacy in this game. Any like concept of truces or standoffs and so forth happens informally between players as they choose. So it looks like we're gonna have to initiate hostilities against Vanheim. It is time to start thinking about sacred troops since we have that throne. $25 resource each. Let's get 2 of those into the mix. Yes, and so now that we're building those cost holy points. Building your sacred unit. Also, yes, those losses in that fight may have been in fact from friendly fire, caused by our archers being being rather cavalier about firing into close combat. Shit happens. Not one step back. I could probably reduce the instances of that if I... over on the setup. Instead, tell the archers to fire at something farther away. Yeah, prioritize other archers. Let the frontliners do the frontlining. Counter battery fire. I could also split the archers into multiple squads, which I probably will do once I have the once I have more generals to micromanage with. Alright, battle. Against some pirates. We're easily routed. Eugen the Von Hers. Enemy priest. And a bunch of pirates. Some local warriors. Oh, and our wizard cast flying shards. The power of wizard rocks has been released against the enemy. There they go. Watch out, he's throwing rocks. Yeah, looks like he's just kind of sitting in the corner, just buffing himself and then running away. Farewell, armies of Vanheim. And we've claimed the Throne of Might. Okay, so... 60 militia there. Let's build a castle out here on the front. Yeah, I got the cash for it. Next turn, we will have a castle. You guys, search for sites. That will now be our front against our rude neighbor friend. Also, with a castle there, we'll be able to recruit more regular soldiers. So, how it works, once you're outside of your capital, neutral provinces will have garbage local generics that you could recruit if you wanted to, naturally. Although you're limited by only the resources in that province. So we could grab generic commander man, or generic priest man. They're terrible, don't use them. Militia, archer, heavy infantry, they're terrible, don't use these units. But once you build a proper castle, you can start recruiting your national soldiers there. And then once you build a temple, you can recruit your priests. Once you have a lab, you can recruit your wizards. Like, the exact type of generics available will vary based on what kind of neutrals were there when you fought. So, down here we can do horse tribe guys for cavalry archers, or if we invaded this province, we'd be able to get fishmen, but generic fishmen, not good, like, nation-grade fishmen. The worst fishmen. Gotta get the sage treadmill going again. Although having a third general also going to be useful. That is still yet another leader who I can have carton troops around. Not even brand name Fishman. Just the store brand of Fishman. Deep Wounds. Build our fort there. That'll be powered by these 3 provinces once we conquer them. Also that thing over there, yeah, it's gonna have plenty of resource base to work with, especially if we start to push forward into Vanheim. Guess then we'll have an army build up around here for guard purposes, and sweep west looking for shenanigans. Where's our scout? Scout, you need to keep walking around. Ah, and we found another flag. There is territory of someone else down here. Whichever banner is green with the vine around it. Look at these assholes with their cold dominion. Terrible. And yeah, both of you are moving up. We're gonna have to set up a temple and start preaching and push all sorts of warmth in that direction. Alright, we have done some research successfully. The Lizard King has claimed the Throne of Stability. Found 2 magic sites, some gem deposits and some quicksand. Income boost. However, another province was invaded and taken by Vanheim has snuck past us. Unacceptable. Oh, and it's going to take multiple turns to build that castle. Well, good thing we have another general. Right, so Dry Ops will stay here and build the fort. To hold down. Meanwhile, Ice and the Wizards will go exact some revenge. You are going to build us a temple. As both a priest and a wizard, he can build temples and labs. And yes, so something I should have been investing in. A thing you can do is just with some cash, you can buy generic defense units that will be in the province and will pop up to resist enemies. What kind of province defense you get is based on what kind of people were in the province when you took it. We started with 25 defense, passive, and 8 in our capital there. All well and good. What research did we earn? Level 1 alterations, then we have Distilled Gold, Charged Body, Aim, False Fetter, Fist of Iron, Earth Grip, Earth Might, Personal Look, Skeleton Body, to become a skeleton man, and wood stuff we don't particularly dabble in. Good. Evocation, Alteration, Blood Magic. Blood Burst, Blood Heal, Sabbath Master, Sabbath Slave, Invigorate, Bind Shadow Imp, Summon Imps, Bind Fiery Imps, and Blood Boil. Someday, when the glyph awakens to strike down our enemies, we will have many fire spells to wield through it. Also, so let's see. We searched here. Gem deposits, 75 gold per turn, and quicksand, 1 earth gem per turn. Some fine gems. more basic research done. Dormant pretenders are waking. Alright, the glyph is with us. The word awakes. God of light, master of flames, feeder on impurity. A battle over here where we overran. Nothing, apparently. And battle in Ermac. Where we were attacked by these Huskarls. And... oh, Herdmen. Birdman! No, not Birdman. Herdman. Alright, so they have pulled in there. Your province defense forces won't show up on the combat report. You guys are just causing me all sorts of problems. We have our temple now. The word! Let's put you on research. And also just go ahead and confirm... the word is immobile. It looks like they're immobile. Weird. Normally it will say there's like a trait on their page if it's a creature that doesn't move. However, rejoice, the word awakes! Yeah, it does have... it has 0/2 movement. Okay, no map movement, 2 action points per turn in a fight. Okay. Which makes it terribly slow, apparently. 1/6 human speed. Once I learn to teleport, I can throw it around that way. Once I find a scribe legendary enough to write the word on new surfaces. And no new sites. Another throne has been claimed by the Plague Singer. And a battle in Ermac where we took heavy losses but still won. Or no, we were beaten by the defending forces of Vanheim. They held us off. These guys are tough. What's your deal? Mighty Huskarls. Oh, the deal is probably a little bit that this formation is misorganized because I didn't put those guys back at the front. So they got shot the fuck up by a bunch of Horse Tribe cavalry. Lesson learned! Let's see, the Vanhurst itself is... has a mirror image of itself. Glamorous things. Likewise, the Prophet has some glamour about him. Alright, so that's part of where we went wrong during this battle. getting one of our generals and one of our wizards killed in the process. The mage pilot made it out alive. We need a replacement. Priest? No, the priest was never involved in that fight. We're continuing to generate sages. Oh, you're alive as well. Good. So all the leaders, it seems, did escape. Just got terribly roughed up in the process. With that in mind, reconvene over there. And, avenge this injustice. Smite my enemies. Survivors get all scattered around and you need to micromanage putting the band back together. Bit of a pain. As one would expect from a groggish game. Plenty of interface jank. Actually, if you can bring all those soldiers, then yeah, rejoin the fight. Bring out the justice. I mean, we still managed to kill a lot of his soldiers. So a second round with a proper formation in place. You guys wait a moment to get blessed before charging. You guys get transferred to the folks who are running off to participate in the battle. Vomit up more province defense. Watch your backs. And places with forts, or your capital, have the privilege of using proper soldiers for their passive defense. Alright, let's see if we can squeeze you out of here. If we can, that'll be a great coup to have slain one of their early prophets. Prophet against prophet. Let us see whose god is stronger. Your plague singer or the word. Driven back again? What is your deal? Where you get so strong, buddy? Alright, let's see what happens here. Winter casts Avenger. Arrows fling out, do a little chip damage against our frontliners. There's the blessing, there's the air shield. Yes, his pile of cruft surrounding him. They have glamours around the Huskarls as well. We may just be up against a group that is good at individual unit power. Relative Toughman. And Bullfinter knows Smite. And Mannheim's being kind of rude. And I, randomed into those groups. I don't really know how one takes best advantage of the strengths of our folk. There's only a small number of actual soldiers there, surrounded by glamour delusions. Well, we have our fire weapons. As our big men charge into the fray. So how long does it take us to breach these guys? And a regular spearman broke. Glamour, they're still holding the lines. I need some cavalry if I'm gonna break these guys. I need some way to flank. Just dive past that and harass the folks in the back. So the archers get charged. Gross. So gross. What if I just elephant you to death? How do you like that? He'll keep killing most of his regular soldiers. At this point, all he has left is the province defense swarm around him. You will scatter to the winds. We have them in a pocket, but it's a very irritating pocket to try and crack. We have to be at a lab in order to equip you with gems. Get you all back into the capital. Get a lab set up on the front. We can generate even more wizards. Alright, they did not try to charge me. And my scout is located in other nations' borders. Consider recruiting more scouts. Anyway, now we have elephants. The purpose of the elephants is to go stomp the hell out of my enemy. Soldiers standing comfortably behind the elephants. The archers standing comfortably behind the soldiers. The officers all comfortably bunched up in the middle. Make sure everyone is comfortable. Comfort is paramount. Victory through leisure. And I should have one new sage. Or... I only know one ritual. Earth wizards could summon cave grub. Not a great idea since I don't really have much earth gem. Rather, I wouldn't be able to do it much. What items could I create here? My sword, stinger, sword of sharpness, axe of sharpness, big sword of sharpness. Mostly earth. Black steel shields. Helms, black steel armor. No boots. Ring of Frost. So with my handful of earth gems, I could try to create a fancy weapon or armor for one of my military leaders. But yeah, for the most part, trinkets are garbage. Don't make trinkets. Go scout that land. Well, scan that land. We need to try and properly integrate any of what we have here. Actually, sneak back this way, because one of the things your scouts can do is they can try to do spy stuff, like assassinating leaders. Maybe we can just sneak up on this asshole in their sleep and ruin them that way. And our castle is finally up out here, so I can recruit more craft for the front. Let's see. Get a scout off. Turn, and then we'll have you join in Wizard Treadmill. Hypothetically, if I wanted to branch out into wood magic, hey, dear tribe shaman, 3 points of research, they are sacred. They're not good, don't use them. It's a trick. Search for magic sites and collect all these stray kittens. Bring them home. They belong under a proper general, and you can deliver them to it. Alright, more elephant. It is a holy sign. This is the army which shall know victory. Go forth. March under the banner of the Prophet and know victory. Bring an Earthman as well. We'll cast spells. This is still the same turn where that occurred. You're sneaking over there. And have a priest out here preaching as well. Apply firm Dominion pressure. We have researched blood magic and found an earth blood seepage. And once again, repelled by this rude boy. Sages died in the fighting, damn it. And our captain. Ugh. This guy. It's unreal. At least the Prophet's still alive. Alright, let's go with the assassin. No military units here. Get another commander out. Attach anything at all to this other guy. I can at least go recapture that one province. Oh no, you stay here. Keep the elephants and the sacreds at the capital. Send a handful of top men to go recover that province. More research. take that. Well, take for the first time. We never held that. It will go towards this fort. Preach the word, brother. We have that asshole completely cut off from reinforcement. We just have no way to get into him. He's too strong. Cannon fodder with glamour. Fucking hells. How do you get around glamour? What is the counter for such magics? Certainly isn't trampling with elephants. There was a little bit of province defense, but no proper units. Bullthorn the Vanhurst, how are you over here? Why are you everywhere, Bullthorn? Is that a feature you have? What do you do? Priest, blessed, shock resistant, stealthy, clamor, charge body, air shield, sailing. Maybe you were there all along and I just couldn't notice you because of the glamour. And you're stealthy. You may have just snuck through my territory to get over here. But if you have come over here, that means you're leaving the other province undefended. We'll see what the scouts have to say. Whatever was there, we stamped it. We need more battle wizards. No, our scout is in here now. Exceptionally powerful and well-organized local province defense, allegedly. Local province defense composed of lizard men. Tiny lizard warriors. Under a mighty lizard shaman. And we will, while maintaining this siege within our borders, struggle to rebuild our army and try to resume taking new territory. If I can get a fighting pile running off in that direction, then we can instigate some degree of shenanigans. Head over there, you're gonna do more searching. Earth blood, more earth gem. Oh, also the Earth is round on the east-west axis on most maps. You can have a square map if you want that has 4 edges. We just have a north and south edge on this map. Things will wrap around eventually. There's some snake folk territory, I guess. That might be the lizard men. Could be something else as well. More sages. The wisdom to see us through the war. Depending on what I have built up, I might be able to kill 40 fishmen. The Lizard King has claimed the Throne of Stars. I've built up a decent pile of colossi. Yeah, there you two might be able to storm off and kill those fish. The Prophet still lives. And has gotten out of his previous fights unwounded as well. Actually, you know what? Just send the good shit. Go engage those fishmen. The elephants to go deep. And the colossi to fight the front. We'll send him around to collect the rest of the chaff that we're building up. Your orders for this battle: be a wizard. By all means necessary, do the magic. And at least over on the side, we have that fort continuing to toughen up. Ready to do what it has to. Drain and death? Rain, death, cold, sloth. What kind of horrible dominion do you have? What an awful god. Why would anyone live under this creature? Just a bunch of lazy, uninspired creatures, things waiting to die. Wow. What a life you all lead. Alright, search for magic sites. What do we got out here? Find us the good stuff, Glaucus. Despite my god being predominantly fire, I don't have any generic fire wizard. Oh wait, the Bride's in Waiting. Maybe I should get one of those out and make them part of the army. It's about time we, as a divinity, settled down. Met a nice warrior queen. Let someone be wed to the word. Yeah, you with your garbage, you're going to circle around and just gather all the strays. There we go, we have conquered the Ichthyds at the cost of a single elephant. Let us watch it rampage to glory. Yeah, Blessin', Quicken, Stone Skin. There's the fish! And there's the elephants. What a fight! Oh, and we just got a free Bride of the Gods by way of event. Nice. And a boiling bog. The hot swamp. And a wild forest. So some good gem income starting to appear. That's a free bride for you, Jim! Death 3. Fire 3. Earth 1. Death 3. Blood 3. 2 ranks of priest. Extremely loud is the only way elephants know how to live. It is their nature. Alright, so let's do a thorough scan for sites and claim the throne. Oh, and, whoop. Ah, this is a hero, proper named unit, has extra flavor. Fire resistant. 25 research. This would be pretty good to just keep at home. If anything, I should get my current prophet killed and make her my prophet. First wife of the word. She could start summoning skeletons. If I had any death gem. I don't have any I have to find death gems for my wife. So she can start generating mighty war skeletons and ghosts. Means I should send her out on a search. I feel like your capital is auto-search, but maybe that's wrong. Yeah, may as well. Have a quick batch of folks do a look around. Just wait a sec. I mean, I know we live here, but do we really live here? Do we live? Get a survey running. Just to be sure we didn't miss anything in the couple of years we've spent. This army, at this point, yeah. Meet up with that wizard, collect some of these other strays. Well, no, those aren't strays. Those are the stray gathering army itself. You'll punch over here, claim that, and see if we can push our way out and set up a new fortress over in Raz there. Where did my scout end up? Yeah, the one who's keeping an eye on that alleged exceptionally powerful defense squad. And the scout that's over here. Mannheim's on this peninsula. Sneak that way and reveal more map. These guys will just keep digging in. Have some strong chaff armies out here on the front. Possibly start picking fights with these elves, if they are elves. I'm not sure what they are. One officer and a few loyal henchmen. Alright, we've claimed the lower throne. And unsuccessful searching. And successful searching elsewhere. Well of white water. Some gem deposits. Alright, so we're now reasonably confident that there are no magic sites in the capital. I think I will send our bride out looking for death sites, though. Which again, it takes a... Send you out looking for death sites. Send them both out together. Our wives should be able to get along. Besides, I'm intending her for combat anyway. One of them. The second wife is for fighting. Battle in the Two Woods. Another elephant spent to plow our way through some barbarians. Expected events. ruin in Debritha that should be investigated. Children disappearing at night in Welrith. Creating a tiny bit of unrest, for which we can just start patrolling to suppress that. And to finally get all you scooped up into a formation so we can take you home. Clockwork soldiers! What have you folk been up to? Lizard chariots, wolves, heavy... Alright, yeah. Lizard men live in this forest. I was right the first time when I guessed that that coil was a snake. Snake men. Snake Romans living down here. Out at Ironport. Oh, there's a river in the way. We cannot... should be able to cross that. I mean, you're a sailor, right? Oh. Only a little bit of sailing power. I've got to thin it down. Alright, he probably can't sail the elephants? Let's see if I left the elephants behind. How are you for sailing then? I might need to recruit a fish army to cross a river. On the other hand, I think this river is a relatively safe frontier. Where's your size rating? These colossi and elephants. Not particularly well suited to being boated. Well, that means that the formation's done its work over here and can head back to the capital for reinforcement. On HP. Elephants are size 6. Colossi are size 3, just barely too big to boat. Whereas I don't have any regular human soldiers standing around here right now. Yeah, regular human archers are size 2. So, humans only for boat movement. So, that is an ocean-capable army. I could send those guys across a river. What is this throne I've claimed? Spreads dominion, produces blood slaves. Nice. The throne. I'm generating more gems. So there is... where that book was, let's see. It is... Debritha. Yes, that is up here. How do I make you search? Or how do I make you dungeoneer? Alright, you found a sun ridge. You've killed 9 filthy brigands and troublemakers, replacing them with order and peace. Good. You just chill out here and await the eventual arrival of reinforcements. We'll boat someone over that river to storm it, and then once we have control... Alternatively, yeah, we have a land connection down there. So make your way over that way. You apparently do. Guess you're just that good. Or maybe it's your boating skill. Kicking in. There's the quick basics of formating. Not gonna go in too deep on this. If anything, yeah, I could have you specialize as commanders. One guy focus on the line, other guy focus on the wall. Must be some number of wizards that could defeat these guys. Also, man, this enemy Dominion sticking to me. Let's maybe switch you over to priest spam, so we can do more preaching. Heard that good news. You to zip over there. Actually, stay here because we're putting together a sacred army. Battle in Weldrith. Patrol. Water research. Vanheim tried to raid us with a Huskarl and the Van Hers. How were only the archers involved? Because one of them is patrolling. Well, it's fortunate they did so well at shooting that one Huskarl. That 100 men were able to kill a single enemy soldier. Reach. Reach it good. Praise the word. Looks like we found another banner out here. Just had a source of death gem. I could try to summon up anything else. The lab built over there. Near this nice orb pedestal thing. Might end up to my benefit to throw down even more fortress right over here. Ideally, I'd prefer to spread them out a little bit. If I have to secure my borders. Getting the fort, like, over there would also peg down a bunch of directions things can fight from. Give me a lock on that mountain range. Forget your lab. There-ish. Fort placement. Always a bother. Wait, this is a land border across there? Really? The Dark's relatively shallow? Fascinating. Or maybe that's just river border being a distinctive thing from regular border, even when regular border is leading into the ocean. No sights. Weapons claim the throne of law. Worldwide order. Rides off on a motorcycle. Justice and order permeate through the spheres. Due to the claiming of the throne of order. So all around the world there's a little more law. Alright, you know what? It's time to take back what's mine. Someone in all of this pile is going to have what it takes to put an end to this. Bring the Prophet. Wherever I put them, they had scooted out here. Somewhere in here. Too many folks. Too crowded in here. There is apparently no commander to assassinate. They exist, they cannot be found. Charge! Blood for the word! Battle in Latian, where we were just aware of some folks fighting some undead. Lanka attacked Independence. And our battle in Emmerich. Conquest! The cost of dozens of regular lives. Good. The Van Hers is defeated. Forward, noble elephants. Forward, thousands of arrows. Crush their tiny serfs. Yes, good elephants! And you dive into the heart of their cavalry. And hey! There's Bullvinter. The one actual fellow and not his glamour. He actually left the formation. Honking intensifies. Get him! Everybody get him! Bullvinter must die. Oh, and now that we have some death mages, they can just tactically create skeletons. And there's the spear line reaching the enemy cavalry. And here come the Colossi. 2 elephants broke ranks and are running away. Several other elephants died, but that's okay because we won. Our new wife who conjures skeletons! Ah, good. Finally. Never again forget to add province defense to newly taken land. Even a little bit. We can send that scout up to go keep an eye on Vanheim while we try to orchestrate more growth. Let's see. Now, all 3 of these captains will move up to the border. Dis will head back to the capital. And Lucas, well, both of you search this area before heading home. The off chance that we finally get a source of death gem. Then, Dis will head back to the capital to dwell in the palace and celebrate victory. And you, preach, brother. Spread the word. And yeah, there is an earth serpent here. Our scouts report the presence of giant fucking snake. There is only Python the earth serpent, who is intensely powerful. Let's maybe not go that direction and try to expand into Vanheim instead. If we must. Get all of our top sages to work on researching how to kill a giant snake. I want top men on this. We'll get another bride in waiting. Yeah, that is the enemy pretender god stomping around the front lines. It is quite large and quite dangerous. And it belongs to the Orange Banner by the looks of it. Keep this base generating precious chaff, while the capital devotes its efforts to generating powerful holy units. Magic site, the Broken Tower. Yes! Death! Skeleton resource. Good. Mikisi will continue to survey the lands that we have, searching for more precious gem income. Keep the preachers preaching, trying to push this enemy dominion off our lands. All this gross sloth essence needs to be corrected. The throne over here, which we already claimed, is the Throne of Might. Our blessed soldiers get extra strength. We That and the lower throne, which asserts dominion and gives us 5 blood slaves. Yeah, there's our prophet. Take him and some of the army. Be able to go conquer that throne over there. Get that claimed. Consider trying to kick down the door of Vanheim. Send my scout forward to get an idea of what's going on in there. Dryops leading a bunch of archers, and Erechthonios there leading a bunch of regular infantry. Oh yeah, let's have them stampede in there, accompanied by... Actually, those guys pivot west. We'll be ready to conquer that province there, since it's still independent as well. Meanwhile, Odios, who has all the Colossi, accompanied by the prophet, they will go engage in festivity. Yes, to reiterate, the premise here is that each of these countries has a god who would like to become the one true ultimate god of the world. So we're all fighting it out. Our god is the Word, a divine glyph. Just a giant sacred letter made of fire hovering over our capital, proclaiming immense power. Mostly fire. It's very, very fire. A little bit astral, a whole lot fire. Much is learned from gazing into the fire. What kind of god these assholes have? Yeah, we've seen the Python in charge of the land of demons. Demon ogres, apes, and undead prefer heat too. Plague Singer there is the god of Vanheim. Exalted above and below, the Most High, foremost of the Westerners, Lord of arcane mysteries. There's also, we've not yet seen Gailaug leading the Pale Ones. King of Dirt, King of Kings, Nourisher of the Fields, and Unforgiving Master. And the lizards we've seen down south of us, who worship Katis, Prince of Majesty, Master of Astral Fire, and Master of Heavenly Fire. Python's titles for reference. Copper Caster of the Gods, God of Might, Eater of Filth. All praise to the glorious shit-eating serpent. Hey, they worship Framt! Small world. Beef up our PD a little. Would stand to recruit another scout. Do yet more spying. Alright, battle Onliga and an elephant and some colossi to beat up a shitload of miscellaneous. Twice over a battle in Fanglia. Vanheim also tried to invade here, but their Van Hers, a Van Drot, another sort of mighty horse warrior. And 5 clockwork soldiers. Your robots were no match for my colossi and elephant. Let's see this fight. Their robot scared my elephant. Or more accurately, I think all the wizardry going on scared the elephant. Into nearly running into our soldiers. Alright, they're pretty deft. They got around it. I feel like most of our casualties were from that elephant trampling. And meanwhile, we're getting some phantasmal warriors. Yeah! Now I have illusions! Ho ho ho. Let's look at the other battle too, just to watch some things grind together. This is what we looked like when we went into that province. We have filled the elephant with rage. Although that elephant is also badly wounded. It was on its last leg anyway. Trample all these militia. Die with honor. It just crushed 12 men, and now it's gone. And this elephant was paralyzed. Very good. At least when it's sitting still, it's not going to crush any of ours. Yes, who the hell is it? The fire elemental! Okay, there just was a neutral wizard in here. Carrying a bunch of gems. Where'd you get those gems? Who gave you gems, rando wizards? So yeah, using a gem, I think the effects, it temporarily boosts the effective level of the wizard, or lets them burn off a bunch of fatigue, where the primary cost of spells cast in battle is it builds up fatigue. It can eventually knock out the wizard if they throw too many spells. So there was this fire elemental here during this fight. Thrown into our guys with burning weapons. We know all about fighting fire. Apparently a very old fire elemental, 897 years young. And our prophet is able to banish wicked things that we despise. There are some blood slaves as well. So yeah, when you equip somebody with blood slaves, they show up as a unit on the field. Some spells cost gems as well, particularly. They demand gems when in use. So we carved up these strange field wizards. That square is still on fire. What a fight! And with it, we can claim another throne. And hopefully get ready to try and push forward into Vanheim, while still holding the line back here. That's a scout, not a leader. Yeah, you are going sneaking. As we try to pierce into the depths of Vanheim's territory and see what their deal is. Freshly conquered province, give it passive defense. Right. Freshly conquered throne, give it all the defense. Gonna march over there and flop down another fort. We'll have 2 provinces of overlap with an existing one, but whatever. I can work with that. Could also consider getting myself a horse brother. Hey, horse brother. Let's consider recruiting a basic fish just to try to invade the ocean. I mean, these aren't particularly expensive fish. Got regular fish. We have a net and a spear. Or fish warrior who has a proper suit of armor going on. Wonder if I can create enough fish craft to just overrun the sea. You have 40 leadership. We'll see what happens. Can we conquer the ocean? Do I have any other fish-generating provinces right now? The lizard men have claimed the throne of beasts. We have claimed the throne of thorns. No new magic sites. Battles in Ephisbor and Fanglia. Ah, pushed back by defenders. And the death of one of our mage pilots. Rough. We crushed a lot of them in the process as well. So what was this fight? Clockwork soldiers going after our colossi. Repelled them again. Cost us a good elephant though. Yeah, they're gonna want that throne. Alright, so looks to be that this was just a wide enough clusterfuck. Yeah, we got this sorceress over here with plenty of gems. And you over there. He sent Croft with only marginal wizard support. Underestimated the numbers involved out here. We will have to rebuild and try again. Fortunately, there was only the one adjacent province, so I can get all of these firmly latched back on. Well, if anything, I should bring the Colossi again. Maybe an archer pile as well, but mostly bring the Colossi. War. Let's put our wife to work. See what we can get out of them death magics. Or no, I don't think we can afford Bane. 7 gems, just a smidge too many gems. Next turn. Don't have nearly enough death income. Getting a good wave of scouts pouring out into Vanheim territory. We will soon have their measure. Many other provinces that can make fish. Yeomen. Horses. Militia. These lizardmen are non-amphibious. Just the one kind of fish. Are getting mage pilots coming out of the capital. Boat wizards. Battle in deep forest. We've witnessed fighting between Argatha and Vanheim. Out over here on the eastern front. They've run into... yeah, the other side. So we know about the extent of these folks who have sprawled out quite well. They wound up relatively compact. Mostly robots and serfs. What a weird army. keep recruiting more fish. The word is with you. What's a... Is there a command for select half? Now that I've created this mound of archers, I kind of feel like actually subdividing it, just creating two, like, 50-50 armies. Well, no. In a separate pile. His goal is to stay behind the other close combat pile. And once they're filled up, I will shuffle them over there, build another one. Yeah, this place will be responsible for creating hardy chaff unit mix. With the odd dab of cavalry? Yes, for too long I have not had mounted units. That's the ticket. I need man on a horse. Let's assign some folks to an honor guard for our bride-in-waiting. That seems worthwhile. But yeah, I get like a 40-40-20 split of footmen, horsemen. Create one of those every 10 turns out of here. Sort of deal. What does this throne do? Red's Dominion, plus 10 poison resist to our blessings, and produces 2 green. So, our Colossi are gonna get even better. The old frontline combat. You are now part of an honor guard for our other wife. The one archer. Just the one attendant with a bow who shoots anything that offends her. It's a pretty good gig. Alright. You are out surveying. The serpent has entered the lake. Gross. It might be after us. We might be helpless before its might. I have to bring all the armies together to fend off the World Serpent over there. Well, if we can kill it, it'll be an amazing coup, but hopefully its attention will get drawn towards Vanheim. See how they like that? Maybe the fish will be able to defeat it. I believe in you, noble fish squad. They'll buy time for the actual soldiers to arrive. Alright. What now? Blood magic research. Empty searching. Once there are cavalry and a full blob of spear cruft in there, I will have them go guard the throne. And then these folk will redirect over to try and storm that shit. So actually, really, we've worn down most of what's in there. Don't need much of an army to retake whatever's in there. These colossi should be able to do it. Backed by any old priest. Yeah, Hermos. Get on out there. Have a spare priest in the capital. Not kicking around. I have extra priests over here. One of them can go be at the ready. Have some spare generals kicking around. We'll have one of you move back to the capital. Nice new temple there to help push Dominion. Finally, maybe started to push back against all of this. Preach the teachings. If the teachings do not work, begin the blood sacrifice. One way or another, the lesson will be learned. Fish militia continuing to grow. When they hit size 40, we send them into the sea. Battle in the Deep Forest. More of Argatha versus Vinheim. Vinheim doing well against Argatha. Ah, my scout was murdered. They caught on to his tricks. Anyway, let's see how this Vin v Argatha fight went. There's the Great Olms. Argatha. Skeleton and weird cave beasts. Troglodyte. Let's see, they have... Let's see, over there, yes. The Mound King. That's a fine death wizard thing. Charging into a wall of mostly illusory herdmans. After the right kind of country, your army can be full of snakes. You're watching someone else's fight we were able to spy on with a scout. They sent us this report. At Vanheim to Landest. These guys... outlandish. Alright, your turn to try to go scouting. See if you can run the blockade. Somebody's got to breach that barrier. Maybe it'll be you. I may want to send the prophet out there to go claim the site. A regular priest over here by the throne. Exactly enough to add more footcraft to my build order. Alright. Cavalry in there. Spearmen down here. One archer in there. And the rest of you are just waiting around. Do I have another commander anywhere in this pile? Nope, all wizards. Wait, there we go. You're a captain. Here's your first archers. Use them wisely. Under penalty of death. Right, so once they're all gathered together, we'll storm there, set up a new fort there. We'll have 3 fortresses trying to sustain army strength. A huge earth serpent towers over this army of 50 men. They might be heading for that throne themselves. Rude times upon us. And you are poor, tiny fellows are not skilled enough to call the Kraken. Gotta seem your Stormcaller out of the capital. Yeah, he might be capable. Such amazing feats. Slowly getting the sloth out of my land. Just so lazy. Been infested with Vanheim for too long. These awful lazy gods. The flags indicate ownership, yes. Red with the sword here is Vanheim. This purple banner with the little sail up top is us. And so forth. Lizard folk country over here. Mole men over there. Blood moles. Seeing more combat in the deep woods. Pick up that Colossus. And they did not attack that province, so let's do it. All together now. For a while, just in response to our current needs, let's scale back archer recruitment and instead focus on spear and horse. Mostly horse. And back home, we're remaining all in on Colossus. 38 is enough, fish. Get in there. You can take 9 Shamblers. As our Dominion starts to seep into territory, we start to get innate intel, just divine insight into what's going on in there. Yeah, we're pretty sure there's 10-ish Shambler in that water, just neutral Shambler. And we will conquer them. Defeat them, then move out into the oceans and build a mighty sea fort. You can do it, fish. I believe in you. Foth. Foth. Your legend begins here, Ichthyid Lord. Rise up and claim your destiny. Sure, wait, you are heading for the throne. My dear prophet. Well, our first wife, rest come. Finally, we have enough death gem. Call forth a bane. Oh, let's see, Black Servant. Alright, that's a ghost scout. Mound King. Revenant. Yes, we will use death magic to create a death wizard, who then, as a good and helpful subordinate, will go out and find more death gems to give to our death wife. Powering more creative spells. Good. This is how we will survey the lands. Vanheim pushed into... More Colossi? What? They attacked the throne? Yeah, that's where the throne is. Battle of the Troll Sea! Yes, Fish Lord! Your legend starts here. To victory! LT Shamblers here, Amphibious Dark Vision. That's about it. They're kinda tough. But our mighty fish warriors saw through and delivered the victory. That's right, this is our territory now. Victory at sea. Let's see, what other battles were there? Oh, Colossi. So the Katis did come in here, but then we drove them back out. There's 6 Colossi. Gymir of Vanjarl has claimed a throne in the name of Plague Singer. And our Revenant was created. Alright, so we have here now. Build that castle. You have to get in there and claim that throne. Anaheim. And let's see if one of those other captains survived. I want them to take the Colossi again. Let fish war begin. Slowly, each fish province we claim will channel more resources back to the mainland. Then together we will win. I've now created that subordinate death wizard who's in here somewhere. Where do you go, Shade? Be in here. It cast the spell. Ah, there we go. Down arrow. There we go. I've created this fellow. Ebenezer the Revenant. Seal 1 Death Wizard. Alright, Ebenezer. You get to go sniff for death crystals. You already know there aren't any off in that direction, actually. So, can you get... Yes, you can get all the way over there. Sniff that. Check the frontier for death. The snake has claimed the war throne. And we found a deep crevasse. Just look at this hole. It just goes on forever. What a pit. Thrones can only be claimed either directly by your god or by their duly appointed prophet. Alright, with my new fish militia, let us... Actually, well, let's see. Are you guys amphibious or just aquatic? They are amphibious. I can take them ashore. But I will have them team up with the coastal folk and push in the other direction, maybe? Alternatively, 40 Tritons. Yeah, I'll have that other fish lord join up. Battle in the deep forest we witness. Event in 2 woods. And another of our scouts is murdered. Claimed the throne of air. Dominion, air shield, 2 gems per turn. And recruit windmasters. That's a decent wizard. Research to air. Oh, we need to build a lab still, but we know of a decent wizard. We do not have enough gold right now. We are overstepping our income a little bit. Stop recruiting fish. At least not land fish. Take these armies. Good old Dryops. Dryops, Odios, and appropriate wizard support. Let's give you some, well, hold on. What flavor are you? You are water and earth. Have some gems. You are earth and blood. We got plenty of slave kicking around. Have a slave or two. Which leaders are actually joining the fight? You're equipped. You're equipped. Who else is moving? You. You dabble in water. Some water gem. You also dabble in water. Have fun. And you are earth and blood. Just go full blood. Come get your damn slaves. No mercy. Oh, we finally got some growth out there. Get with the death. Start attaching colossi directly to the wives. Would save the management of needing to send a separate priest. Looking for corners I could cut to get a lab built this turn. There we go. An all necromancy army would depend on your gem income. If you had a steady supply of death to build with, then maybe. Fuck. Anaheim is tough. And our spot in the deep forest has been kicked out. Actually, this has gone on for a while now, and we've run up against some walls. And wow, the serpent went all the way around us and conquered the rest of the ocean. The serpent is mighty. Beware the great snake. But anyway, I think I've accomplished my goals as far as giving a bit of a taste of this to fill time. So I'm gonna go watch that combat report from our failed attempt to retake Fanglegia? Funlegia? Sure. Let's go see how this played out. And then we will call this an end to a sampler of dominions. They also have a good archer swarm. And I love me archer swarms. They are the good shit. Perhaps what said actually set the horses to charge rearmost. That they would bypass this line entirely and go for the archers. Go for the archers in this damn pile of phantom images. Mimer. And Drigo. Man, I'm just rude as hell, though. That was fun. It's a very fun game. It has just that right mix of weird, intricate, fiddly bits and some aspects of it that are actually reasonably streamlined. The archers are all still comfortably back there while the footmen plow in there. Does a good job of capturing kind of a sense of, oh wait, what the hell are these? Earth elementals! Yeah, I sent those gems along for a reason. Look at these wonderful mindless creatures. Go get them. Yeah, it really nicely captures this kind of sense of like way old time classical and early medieval warfare. Getting to see it unfold in intricate detail. Building your little formations and smashing them into each other. But with wizards! And yeah, the sheer ridiculous level of customization, all the options that you have open for builds. Even if many of them are probably quite bad in traps. Means there's a lot of replay value once you're willing to get past the barrier for entry. And it builds a cool mythology. Alright, yeah, that's a bunch of my guys who broke and are retreating. Very important to have a proper feel for how your civilization does their thing, though. I have never used Baratos before, so I don't know what their deal is. I'd have to look over things in detail, or like the manual gives a bit of a decent primer on what each civilization tries to do. And there they are, charging into the helpless wizards, abandoned by their bodyguards. Yeah, that glamour, that's powerful shit. Anyway, that's enough of that. Dominions. It's pretty good.